When Anton called her, he was no longer superior. He was furious. Furious that she had spoken out. Furious that the shame had shifted sides. Furious that there were consequences. He blamed her for harming him, for tarnishing his image, for making the atmosphere at the office unbearable. But this time Maria did not tremble. She replied to him with an icy calm that no one had forced him to say what he said, that words have weight, that contempt always ends up being costly. Then she hung up and blocked his number. When the taxi arrived, she took her suitcase and left the apartment without looking back. Behind her, there remained a kitchen still warm, a dinner prepared for people who would probably never come again, and the ruins of a marriage built on something that resembled love, but which had not withstood the first real test: respect. In the car, as the city lights passed by outside the window, Maria replayed their entire story in her mind. Young, shy Anton, the awkward dates, the promises, the hopes, the efforts. And then, little by little, the cracks appeared, the remarks she had downplayed, the contemptuous silences, the corrections to the way she spoke, the annoyed looks when she told a story that was too simple, too warm, too lively for his new cardboard world. He hadn't left her all at once. He had left her piece by piece, every time he chose appearances over appreciation, ambition over loyalty, the opinions of others over the woman he had loved before anyone else. At Lena's, the welcome was the exact opposite of what she had just left. Real warmth, the smell of a cake in the oven, children laughing, open arms. No judgment, no calculation. Lena hugged her the way you welcome someone who has come from far away. The children all started talking at once, asking her for a story, laughing around her. And Maria, despite the tears still caught in her throat, told a little improvised story that made them burst out laughing. In that moment, something fell back into place. She remembered who she was. A radiant woman, a woman who creates warmth around her, a woman whom children immediately love because they recognize what adults often forget: authenticity. Later in the kitchen, a cup of tea in her hands, she told Lena everything. The sentence, the tone, the look, the job, the calls. And Lena told her what every wounded person needs to hear one day. You haven't lost anything precious. He's the one who lost a rare woman. These words passed through Maria like a slow light, because deep down it was true. For years, she had believed that she needed to be chosen, kept, validated. But that night, she understood that she could also choose, refuse, leave, start over. She then called her parents. Her mother cried as she listened to her. Her father spoke little, but every word carried that quiet strength of men who don't need grand speeches to stand tall. They told her to come home. They told her that a place was waiting for her at the village school, that she could finally become the teacher she had dreamed of being when she was younger, that there was a small apartment for rent, that she would never be a burden to them. Maria closed her eyes. All her life she had believed she needed to move away from her roots to deserve something. And now it was precisely her roots that were going to save her. The divorce was quick. In court, Anton tried to downplay things. As is often the case, those who humiliate others then try to present their violence as mere clumsiness, their contempt as a somewhat harsh truth, their cruelty as an exaggeration by the victim. He explained that she had taken his words the wrong way, that she was too emotional, that he had merely pointed out an incompatibility of backgrounds. But by trying so hard to appear rational, he mostly revealed his coldness. Maria, for her part, did not shout. She simply spoke. She said that a marriage without respect is no longer a marriage, that she was not ashamed of her family, her accent, her past, or her way of loving, that she refused to stay with a man who thought it was honorable to belittle her in order to make himself look better in front of others. And when she left the courthouse, she felt lighter than she had in years. She returned to her small town, where the air seemed different, where the distant forests reminded her of her childhood, where people didn't judge a woman by the label on her dress or her ability to name the right vacation spots. She found a job at the school. The children liked her right away because she knew how to turn a lesson into an adventure, because she knew how to listen, because she was made to teach, not to show off. Her apartment was modest, with an old worn floor, a noisy fridge, and curtains she had sewn herself. But it was her home, truly her own. She put flowers on the windowsill, a notebook on the table, tea in an old teapot, and little by little she began to breathe again. Anton tried to reappear. A few messages, a few reproaches. He accused her of destroying their family, of ruining his reputation, but it was too late. Maria no longer responded. She now knew how to recognize the difference between love and possession, between sincere regret and wounded pride. She was learning peace, true peace, the kind that comes when you finally stop begging for a place beside someone who has already shown you they no longer see you. One evening, sitting on her small balcony facing the edge of the woods, she reopened an old notebook in which she used to write her dreams when she was young. She had written there that she wanted to teach, to have a home of her own, to plant flowers, to live with someone who would love her without trying to change her, without wanting to erase her, without making her believe she had to become someone else to be worthy of love. She smiled. Not all her dreams were dead. Some had only been delayed, and others perhaps were just beginning. Because deep down, this story isn't about a man who invites colleagues over without warning. It's not even just about a husband who has become snobbish. It's about all those women who shrink into silence so as not to disturb. About all those who are made to believe that their gentleness is a weakness, that their simplicity is a shame, that their background is a flaw, that their devotion is normal, owed, invisible. It's about the day when one of them stands up, takes her bag, closes the door, and realizes that leaving is not losing. Sometimes leaving means saving yourself. And if this story resonates so much, it's because it reminds us of a truth that many forget. There is nothing more dangerous for an arrogant person than a woman he thought he owned, who finally discovers her worth. That night, Anton thought he was simply sending his wife away from his table. In reality, he had just sent her out of his life. And Maria, she didn't beg him. She didn't try to negotiate. She didn't make a scene. She took her suitcase, her dignity, her still wounded heart, and she left. Maybe that's what real strength is. Not shouting louder, not destroying, not seeking revenge. Just refusing once and for all to stay where you are humiliated. And sometimes the most beautiful moment in a life doesn't begin with an "I love you." It begins with an "enough."